I learned this the hard way, standing at a gun counter with my card in my hand. Like an idiot, I waited. Not because I didn't have the money, because I wanted to feel smart. Wanted to catch the perfect deal. The clerk didn't argue. He just turned the screen toward me and showed me the same 9mm I looked at last week. Up $100 and already spoken for. That's May. This month is where rebates hit, Memorial Day promos pop up, distributors dump inventory, and then the good stuff disappears in one weekend. Guys call it research. Really, they're just letting somebody else buy the gun first. Then they panic buy whatever's left and pretend it was the plan. So I'm doing this straight. If I'm buying in May with my own money, these are the 9mm I grab before the window shuts. One of them feels like a cheat code, and that pisses me off. April, small town match. Dusty parking lot, folding tables, 2 judges walking around with clipboards like they ran the Pentagon. I wasn't shopping. I was just watching guys burn stages and pretend they weren't nervous. Then the CZ Shadow 2 Compact showed up. One guy ran it clean. No drama, no hero talk. Just smooth. Usually that gets a couple claps and a joke. This time the air changed. An instructor stepped in closer. Is that the Shadow 2 Compact? One of the judges picked it up off the barrel, dry fired it twice, and didn't say a damn word. That silence told me more than any gun counter ever did. By the next break, 3 different guys hovered around it, not casual buyers. These were dudes who already owned good pistols and still looked annoyed they wanted another one. One guy said he was waiting because prices cool off after spring. The instructor gave this short, ugly laugh that might have been the wrong gamble. Because it's simple, you're getting competition-level performance in a carry-sized gun, and that combo doesn't stay mispriced. The metal frame puts weight where it matters, recoil stays soft for a compact, and the trigger feels like you already paid extra for it. Once enough people notice, demand climbs. Then the price follows. It's still carried like a dense little brick, though. I loved it on the stage. Then hated how real that weight felt in my hand. Shop here in Texas, right before the heat started doing that thing where the air feels thick. Not some flashy chain spot. The kind of place where the counter guy clocks you the second you walk in, buyer or browser. I wasn't even there for the FN 509 tactical. I was staring at cheaper 9mm, trying to be responsible, and I saw the 509 sitting low in the case, like they parked it there on purpose. Not featured, not pushed, just waiting for people to walk past it. So I asked about it. The guy didn't smile, didn't pitch. He pulled it out like a wrench and said, "Most people don't understand this one until after they buy something else." That line hit me, because the 509 tactical looks expensive next to a plain pistol until the math turns ugly. Optics ready, threaded barrel, extended mags, all the stuff guys buy after they saved money. I've watched people pay twice and still pretend they won. He nodded at another gun in the case. Guy bought that last month because it was cheaper. Came back asking what it costs to make it like the FN. That's the tax. And late May, folks start buying for summer classes, cans, optics builds. The 509 stops looking pricey and starts looking obvious. It still had zero charm, just weight and business. What came after that was worse. The boring, safe choice everyone grabs at once. The Glock 19 Gen 5 bored the hell out of me. Trigger felt dead. Grip felt like a 2x4 that learned manners. Every time I held one, I wanted to put it back and grab something with a soul. Then I found one sitting in the wrong bag. Weekend class wrapped. We're throwing gear into trunks. My buddy tosses me his range bag by mistake. Later that night, I unzip it thinking it's mine, and there it is. Glock 19 Gen 5 sitting right on top like it paid rent. This guy spent months trashing Glock. Loud about it. Said it was overrated, said only lazy shooters loved it. Next morning, I hand the bag back and crack a joke about him finally giving up. He doesn't laugh. He just goes, "Yeah, I got tired of proving a point." That's the whole 19 Gen 5 story. Late May, everybody starts doing the same panic math. Summer classes, new carry setups, parts orders backing up. Project gun, suddenly not so cute. And that's when people stop gambling and quietly buy the default answer at the same time. Not because it's sexy, because it stops the bleeding. If you keep swapping guns, or you want one pistol that stays on the belt and doesn't turn into homework, this is the buy. I still don't like it. I just trust what it does to my calendar. And then I did the dumb opposite. Fast, expensive, and impossible to justify out loud. That old school dude always talked like 2011s were a sickness. Rich guy pistols, showpiece stuff. He said it loud enough that everybody heard it and nodded along. Then he showed up with a staccato XC like it wasn't a big deal. No speech. No flex. Just set it on the bench while we loaded mags. I couldn't help myself. I hit him with it in front of people, so you finally caved? You finally bought the fancy gun? He didn't defend it. Didn't list a single feature. He just looked at me like I was slow and said, "Run it." So I did. First press of the trigger felt clean in a way that made my own gun feel rude. Then the recoil happened. Or didn't. The XC stayed flat, smooth, fast. Follow-up shots came back so easy, it felt like cheating. And that pissed me off more than it impressed me. That's where it gets dangerous. Right when the month starts closing out. Classes and matches fill up. More guys start bringing the high-end stuff out, and you don't need to buy one. Just feel it once. After that, everything reasonable starts feeling like compromise. It still isn't the logical buy. That's the problem. The moment you shoot it, logical starts sounding like an excuse. And the worst part, you don't unfeel it after. 2 months ago, I drove down to Nashville to meet an old friend. He's the kind of guy who sees buying patterns before everybody else pretends they noticed. We ended up sitting in his truck outside a diner, talking pistols like it was business. I brought up the PSA dagger like it was nothing. Just another budget Glock clone. Cheap, whatever. He stopped me mid-sentence. "No," he said. "That's the mistake. People think it sells because it's cheap. It sells because people keep coming back for another one." That flipped the whole thing sideways. He wasn't talking about hype buyers. He was talking about repeat buying. Guys grabbing a second one for a backup. A different version just to try it. One for the truck. One to beat up. One to hand to a buddy who needs something now. Quiet recommendations that don't show up online. But they chew through inventory like termites. And that's the scary part. The dagger still feels easy to ignore. May is when that bites you. Budget carry buyers stack up. First pistol, backup setup, I need something now, money. And the dagger gets swallowed in pure volume. It doesn't vanish with drama. It just thins out until you're staring at the wrong version and telling yourself it's close enough. And right after that, you run into the opposite problem. A small carry gun, people swear they're waiting on until summer shows up and the waiting gets real expensive. First hot day hit earlier than I expected. Not summer hot, just hot enough that the whole carry lie fell apart. I walked out with my usual setup, and within 20 minutes I knew it. Shirt felt lighter, everything felt tighter. My hand kept doing that dumb check. Pull, smooth, adjust, like I thought nobody noticed. Then I caught my reflection in a window, and it wasn't subtle anymore. I wasn't carrying. I was managing a problem. I went back to the car and sat there with the door shut, sweating, pissed off, having the stupidest debate a grown man can have. Do I deal with this all day, or do I leave it? That's a bad place to be. A few days later, I started looking at the Springfield Armory Hellcat. Not because I wanted something new, because I didn't want that car seat conversation again. Small enough to disappear, but it still felt like a real gun. Enough grip, enough control. Not some tiny thing I didn't trust. Here's what surprised me. When I went looking, I wasn't alone. Same questions, same timing, same look on their faces. May isn't when guys talk about summer carry. May is when they fix mistakes. And if you wait until it's truly uncomfortable, you shop in a crowd and you settle. Hellcat still snapped if I got lazy. I took that trade anyway. And what I landed on after that made even this choice feel normal. Just get the Ruger RXM before May ends. I hated hearing myself say that because I don't talk like that. I'm usually the guy who drags people through the whole checklist. Budget, carry, range, optics later, upgrades, grip, parts. The stuff that turns one simple question into a long argument. One of my family members called, asking what 9mm he should buy, and I started doing it again, I could hear my own voice getting annoying. I'm asking what he wants it for, what he's willing to spend. If he cares about a dot later, he cuts in. What about the Ruger RXM? And the whole conversation just collapsed because the RXM erased half the future problems before they existed. Optics ready already, grip didn't need fixing, modular enough that he didn't get trapped into one setup. No, buy this now, then spend the next 3 months making it into what you meant to buy. Then, the part that really got under my skin, I kept seeing them around Texas priced almost too cheap for what they are. Like the market hadn't caught up yet. That gap doesn't stay open. It felt almost wrong how easy that answer got. I don't trust answers that clean. And those are the ones that don't sit around in May. I learned this the hard way, standing at a gun counter with my card in my hand. Like an idiot, I waited. Not because I didn't have the money, because I wanted to feel smart. Wanted to catch the perfect deal. The clerk didn't argue. He just turned the screen toward me and showed me the same 9mm I looked at last week. Up $100 and already spoken for. That's May. This month is where rebates hit, Memorial Day promos pop up, distributors dump inventory, and then the good stuff disappears in one weekend. Guys call it research. Really, they're just letting somebody else buy the gun first. Then they panic buy whatever's left and pretend it was the plan. So I'm doing this straight. If I'm buying in May with my own money, these are the 9mm I grab before the window shuts. One of them feels like a cheat code, and that pisses me off.